Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Qadash. And double honors to the elders and apostles of GMS who do rule well, who taught us this truth and peace, and blessings to the hopeful election out there still enduring in the faith. My name is Rachaa. I'm just going to go ahead and get into a few historical concepts that I was looking into today, as far as the trade routes between the Byzantine Empire, between the Vikings, trading between the North America, because they knew those lands, they knew how to travel the seas, and they also knew about the so-called Israelites who ruled during the Dark Ages, which was Jake's. They traded between the Moors. It talks about this is history you can get into on your own, but it talks about the history between the Moors, trading between the Moors were trading between the Taínos back and forth, and Christopher Columbus used a lot of our people. He used Hebrew scholars, whether it be in the Moor, whether it be in the Taínos, to discover the lands. And Christopher Columbus knew these things, and that's why he played. They knew who they were. They played the Israelites at that time, because these Israelites knew who they were as well. They knew. And fun fact, you might already know this, but I don't want to sound too big for my britches. But I believe I might be butchering it. Forgive me if I'm butchering it. But the Barakoyas, I'm probably butchering that. But which what the Taínos called themselves, which means many are abundant, or love, or somewhere along the lines of lords. But anyways, I'm just gonna go ahead and bring these things into fruition by using the scriptures. It says the Dark Ages is a term used to describe the period in the Western Europe after the fall of the Western Roman Empire, which is Jake was ruling during these times, because they took over. And this is really when Constantine, they took over. Constantine, when you read into a lot of his excerpts, he didn't want to relinquish his power. That's why they had to create a Messiah during his rule, the Shroud of Turin, which was during his rule, because he didn't feel as if the Jews that were worshiping at that time deserved to be called or the real Jews. He took it upon himself to do the things that he did. And some say that he had a dream. He was a sun worshiper too. He had a dream to go and conquer those areas, and that's what he did. But this is during the time whenever Jake was actually in rulership. But it says the term was coined by a scholar Petrarch during the Renaissance. The Dark Ages are characterized by a perceived decline in culture, science, and economy, because they always like to make it seem like we was dumb. But a lot of the things that a lot of their structure came from us during the Dark Ages. A lot of their structure, a lot of their buildings, a lot of their, philosophies and music, that came from Jake, man. That came from us, and even when you fast forward to, your William Shakespeare, your Mozarts, these different eras where they like to blot out Jake's history. I looked into John Henson a little bit too, and John Henson was he was pure-blooded Jake, man. Meet an Israelite. It says the Dark Ages are characterized by perceived deadline in culture, science, and economy. And really, that's because they got played. They were out there in those areas. You've heard the story when they were hairy, and they didn't know how to bathe themselves, and they were cave beasts. That was them, not us, man. It said the period is also known as early Middle Ages and late Antiquity, the Dark Ages, and you see those deadline dates between there. The Dark Ages were marked by the movement of the barbarian peoples into the Western Roman Empire, because they like to, including the Huns, Goths, Vandals, Bulgars, Alani, Suebi, and Franks, characterized by the superstition characterized by superstition and fear, and there was little written documentation to prove otherwise. And they have people have the receipts is recorded in the earth. You know, however, some scholars like Petrarch and Edwin Gibson believe that the darkness, and they call it the Dark Ages because that's the time when Jake was ruling. That's just like when they call it black. That's what being a Moor is black. Black or swarthy. As I listening to the elders, you learn these things. You listen to the brothers, you learn these things. You do some study, you learn these things. It naturally starts to come back to you. It says, to an end, it says they argue that the Europeans would progress into the future by learning from the past of greatness of Greece and Rome. Because Jake we were Hellenized, like the elder was talking about. Today we got Hellenized, and a lot of Jakes went into. They taught and a lot of the Jakes that when we were Hellenized, as I talked about, we were actually Spartans too. I just found out today, when they was trading the Maccabean Empire, when they was trading between, I guess you could say, supplies and warriors. That a lot of Jakes went to fight with the Spartans. Just getting into some articles just to prove these points, man, a little bit better. It says the concept of the Dark Age is a historiographical periodization originated in the 1330s with an Italian scholar, Petrarch, who regarded the post-Roman centuries as dark compared to the light of classical antiquity. And that's when you get into, they started to implement that, white supremacist kind of concept at that time too, because, if you were white, you were considered this, you were, black, you was considered this. But that all goes back to what Jeremiah was talking about with the speckled birds, man. They use these things on Jake to manipulate Jake. That's why you're going to have Israelites that look like various different colors, man. The Indians talk about this too, warriors of the rainbow. It's a folklore, but it has a lot of prophecy to it. You're going to have Jake that look like various different colors, man. They ain't just going to come looking black or looking like the elder says, Wesley Snipes, But let's get into the Vikings. It says the Vikings, or the Varygians, were a significant part of the Byzantine Empire, serving as mercenaries between the Byzantine army and personal bodyguards to the Byzantine Empire emperors. And this is during the times when Jake was in rule. They were actually they were mercenaries. They were Jake mercenaries because there was a lot of Jakes of the Vikings too, trading between the Americas. It says you can look into that history. Actually, I'll look it up. I'll get into it while I'm here. It talks about the Jakes that were trading between the Taínos, the gold, ivory, silver, these different, I guess you could say, resources that we already knew about, that Jake already knew about. The Northern Kingdom that was their gift. That's one of their special gifts. Is they know how to work the land. That's their gift. The earth is it listens to them in a sense. So spiritually speaking. The earth is they're in tune with the earth. So they naturally gonna know the best foods, how to work the body, how to heal the body, the blood. They got all these things from us. They stole our knowledge and then they used the knowledge to manipulate them. The narrative, and that's why I talked about the earth should not push out our full strength, because even the earth is against this devil, man. It says, let's read in some of this. It says, loyalty. The Bulgarians' loyalty may have stemmed from a pagan roots, as many of them saw it as an ancestral profession, because we fell away from who we are. A lot of Jakes went their own ways. A lot of Jakes went as far as to China. That's when you get into that Yosuke, who became a samurai warrior, but there was ninjas, samurai. Those were Jakes. Ninjas, samurais, as far as the Americas over here, because King Solomon, he already knew about a lot of these lands and the resources of these lands. That's why, his kingdom was so beautiful, because he had all wisdom. How you gonna have all wisdom and not know where everything is on the earth, man? I mean, that's just me, just in its simplicity, listening to that. But it's a lot that goes into it as well. It says Byzantine relations. The Bulgarians' relations to the Byzantine Empire were characterized by both trading and war. It says the medieval Vikings used the Old Norse name for constable, which comes for Mikil, meaning big, or Gaor, meaning city. And Constantine was, he was not a Jake. He was a sun worshiper. And he took it upon himself to do these things because he didn't want to lose his followers. He didn't want to lose his power. Kind of like similar to what you see today, if you know what I mean. And yeah, man, and pretty much we were, alive at these times whenever, they try to blot out our history, man, just like they've been trying to do. That's why I'm gonna get some scriptures today to back up those claims, man. This is I'm gonna go to 2 Maccabees 1 first to show what's getting into it. It says the brethren, the Jews that be in Jerusalem in the land of Judea, wish the brethren, the Jews that are throughout Egypt, health and peace. So there was Jews that was in Egypt during the time of the Maccabean Empire. This is when the temple got destroyed, and then Judas Maccabees went to war and they rebuilt the temple. It says, God be gracious unto you and remember his covenant that he made with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, his faithful servants, and give you all an heart to serve him and to do his will with good courage and willing mind. It says, open your hearts in this law, in his commandments, and send you peace. It says, and hear your prayers, be at one with you, and never forsake you in the time of trouble. And we now be here praying for you. It says, what as the time Demetrius reigned in the 369th year. So I believe that's 69 beast. I'm probably butchering it, but I believe that's 69 BCE. It says, we, the Jews, wrote unto you in a extremity of trouble that came upon those years from the time that Jason and his company revolted from the Holy Land in the kingdom. And Jason was known as he claimed to be an Israelite, but he was really a convert, some like King Herod, like Haman, and you're talking about, that really pushed a lot of his philosophies on Jake, saying you can't do this, you got to do it like that. You can't speak about it like this, you got to speak about it like that. You got to wear hats, you got to be. But see, the problem is we can't even just be, and that's where the Lord. This is before Yahawashi came into place, like literally before, Julius Caesar, began to he pretty much took over that. He was in the Roman Empire. He pretty much took over everything, as he was being helped, as he got help from Cleopatra. And this is just a little history on that, man. It says, and burned the porch and shed innocent blood. Then we prayed unto the Lord, and were heard. We offered also sacrifices and fine flour and lighted lamps and set forth loaves. It says, and we know now, these days our sacrifice is our righteous king that we want to serve is Yahawashi. He says, and now see that ye keep the Feast of Tabernacles in the month of Caslu. It says in 148th year. So that's 188th year. I believe I'm probably butchering that too. You can correct me if you need to. It says the people who were at Jerusalem in Judea in the council and Judas and sent greeting unto in health unto Aristobulus, the king Photomelus' master, who was of the stock of the anointed priest. It says in the Jews that were in Egypt. So this is pretty much telling you the Ptolemy Empire, which was, he was a Greek, and all his children were Greeks. But a lot of Jakes became Hellenized because they forced it on them. They told them, if you can't do this anymore, either you completely adhere to this way, or we kill you. And that's where that MOTB is going to be offered at the same. Either you take this or you beheaded. You get beheaded. And at the end of the day, a lot of us, all of us, all of the young men, including the mother at that time, they took their punishment. In so much as God, Yahawah, and have delivered us from great perils, and thank him highly as having been in battle against the king. And we say Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, because Yahawashi is a righteous sacrifice, man. That's the king. It says, for he cast them out that fought within the holy city. For when the leader was come into Persia, and the army with him that seemed invincible, they were slain at the temple of Nania, and by deceit of Nania's priest. For Antiochus, as though he would marry her, came into the place, and his friends that were with him to receive money in the name of a dowry. It says, which when the priest of Nania had set forth, and he was entered with a small company into the compass of the temple, which nowadays we represent the temple. That's why they're going to come down on us with great wrath. That's why it talks about that. They got a short time. It's just a little history on everything. Just tying things with the spirit, because there's nothing new under the sun, right? So that they shut up the temple as soon as Antiochus was come in. Okay, let's go here. Second Maccabees. I believe it might be 4. Let's see. Okay. So this is during the battle. He says, this is 2 Maccabees 4:6, for he saw that it was impossible that the state should continue quiet, and Simon leave his folly, unless the king did look thereunto. But after the death of Seleucus, he says, when Antiochus called Epiphanes took the kingdom, Jason and the brother of Anias labored underhand to be the high priest. So he was set up he was pretty much set up by Antiochus to teach their ways. And this is when you get into, that's why he had all of them slaves, man. Because our forefathers didn't want, they refused to bow down to that kingdom, man. Just like nowadays, they're being figured out who they are. And they refuse to take the, we gotta, keep, pray in the name of Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, in the name of Yahawashi, that we do not take that shit, man. That he puts it on our spirit to not take that. That he puts it on our spirit to, just go through with the beheading, man. It says, promising unto the king by intercession 300 and 60 talents of silver, and another revenue 80 talents. So pretty much he came, and he promising gold and silver and talents of pretty much weight. It says, but besides this, he promised to assign 150 more if he have a license to set him up a place for exercise, and for training up the youth in fashion of the heathen, and right them of Jerusalem by the same Antiochus. And that's where you get into, he had them exercise and this and that. They were exercising naked and all this weirdness, man. So they had them doing these things, but it wasn't under, our natural customs, man. We can get these things. It was like, you can work out and this and that, man, but you don't have to work out in public like that. You know, if we was in our power, man, there's a way for us to work out your, behind closed doors or whatever, your woman, your man, this and that. Cause it was never for us to, for you to see each other like that. But you know how the vibration of this earth goes, man. Because of this devil, man. But at the end of the day, I was just getting into just a little history I've been getting into. You can get into it on your own, man. Actually, let me get one more thing, man. My way of the spirit. Let me just go with the spirit with this one. Praise no man before thou hearest him speak, for this is the trial of man. If thou followest righteousness, thou shalt obtain her. It says, put her on as a glorious long robe. The birds will result unto their light, so will the truth return unto them that practice in her. As the lion layeth wait for the prey, so sin for them that work iniquity. So the discourse of a godly man is always worked with wisdom, but a fool changeth as the moon. It says, if thou be among the indiscreet, observe the time, but continually among men of understanding. And that's where it says, let's read this too. It says, the discourse of fools is irksome. It says, in their sport is wanton of sin. It talks about in all things gain understanding. And understand, that, we need mercy, man. We need Yahawashi, man. You ain't going to get this on your own. We're in a grace period right now. We're all walking our walk. And we have to continue to walk that walk of faith, man. And that's why, a lot of things is being shaken up because people are being figured out that they lack mercy. They really don't care about this truth. They just want money. And they don't give a damn about Yahawashi, man. And at the end of the day, Yahawashi is going to figure out more and more people each and every day because the spirit of Yahawashi is here and the Lord is here in our prayers, man. So keep sending up them prayers. Call la Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Rachaa, Qadash. And shalom to the hopeful election out there. Double honors to the elders and apostles who do rule well. Shalom.